the call. The purpose today is for us to begin to address how we are dealing with our messaging and also dealing with the number of cases that we have here in the Southeast. As many of you are aware, the Southeast is making up the majority of our cases. The zip code 37013 currently makes up 20%, over 20% actually, of the cases in Davidson County. And so there's certainly a need for a more focused approach out here. So I had asked earlier, I had asked Dr. Gil Wright, who's actually heading the Southeast plan for the health department, for our latest Southeast numbers. I have not yet heard back from him. He is supposed to be joining this call. I do not see him as of yet, but I did ask Vice Mayor Schulman if we could have a committee to address our numbers here in the Southeast. So I did want to get feedback from my fellow council members and also individuals from the mayor's office, your thoughts on that. I think it is critical at this point that we have a concerted effort out here, and that's going to involve all of us.
Hey, this is Leslie from the health department. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, hello, welcome.
Hey, yeah, about the numbers from the Southeast, we're happy to provide that to you guys. I wasn't aware that that request had been made, but it's something that we can certainly make a regular report from our office. So that's not a problem. I just wanted to put that out there. And then
thank you very much.
Sure, and as we go through versions, we can adapt it to what you all would like to see more of.
Well, I know, as I just stated, I think it would be very important for all the council members that are in the Southeast, working in conjunction with the health department, along with the mayor's office, to figure out what is the best method of attack to get the word out about the importance of testing, knowing what our numbers are here, but I think also about prevention. How do you go home if you're in a multi-generational situation? How do you safely come home, disrobe, and get prepared to interact with your family in a way that isn't putting other people in the home at risk? And I think I would like to meet regularly to discuss what our numbers are so we can actually track, are the efforts that we're making working? I don't think a one-time meeting will be enough. Council members Sepulveda and Vercher, what are your thoughts?
This Councilwoman Vercher, I'm always big on narrative and to frame messaging. We can reframe it, but proper context is that, and thank the mayor's office and people in the health department, they already know this. The zip code 37013 is one of the largest in the city. So initially, when the messaging was coming out as it related to the hotspot for the city, for our area, the proper context would have been the size of the area, because that's indicative of the numbers that we're actually experiencing. It's a correlation between the size of the community and the number of COVID cases that we have. So it's not anything that is unexpected from my vantage. I think, more importantly, none of us as council members.
You were breaking up a bit, Councilmember Vercher. Okay.
I do not have public health expertise, and I'm very cautious trying to advise the community and
Councilmember Vercher, you are breaking up. I'm not sure. You may just be in a poor reception area.
In that space, I would love for or uh, uh,
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not the
Councilman
only one,
Berger,
right? Okay.
if you have any other applications running, you might want to shut those down. Or if you're in an area with a lot of sound or something like that, you might want to move to somewhere quieter.
Hey, Style.
Yes.
Hi, this is Brenda Haywood. I just joined the call.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Joy.
Yes, Councilmember Sepulveda.
Can we hear first from the health department and see if they are ready to present the plan that they had been talking to us about?
to beef
So
up
duplicating.
Philip,
their
could you
efforts
mute
and
to Councilwoman Berger?
communications to our area and some type of targeted approach. Again,
Councilwoman Berger is already muted.
She's actually, I can hear her. She's kind of breaking in and out, and I didn't hear what Councilwoman Sepulveda said. I'm so sorry,
already
Councilmember
muted. You're not
Sepulveda.
hearing.
Yeah, she should be muted now. I think she was muted to begin with, but I don't know why we were hearing the sound come through.
Okay. So sorry about that, everyone. Councilmember Sepulveda?
Yes, sorry.
Thank you.
I don't know if we could hear from the health department first and see if they have the plan that they had been talking about, if that's ready for us to hear it. Just because I would like to know what they are suggesting, because I don't want to duplicate any efforts, and I know we're talking about messaging right now, so I want to see where they're at this moment.
Leslie, are you
All
still
right,
with us?
I am, and I was just about to say, I think me and my colleague Harriet, who's here with me, are the only ones from the health department on, as far as I can tell. But we really have been the ones working on this with Fabian the most, and then at the mayor's office, of course. So what we have, the last couple of months, we've tried some things. We've had to make some really quick realizations that we needed to expand and change course. So what we're about to share is the current iteration of what we are doing and then where we're building out. So it's a multi-tiered approach, and we have media and PR as one major strategy. Of course, communication is key. So I know the PR firm that's working with the mayor's office on everything COVID. They are doing quite a lot in terms of social media outreach, since that's very key to many communities, but particularly this one. We are expanding signage, and especially in PDF format, that way it can be shared across multiple platforms. We have digital assets that are being created, and they're also doing a lot of paid media and earned media. We're going to try to get some testimonials recorded, and I think those testimonials are just about the only thing that hasn't been done yet on that media piece, and we need to get cases, former cases, recovered cases, interested in doing that. I think that's one part where the community, or even you guys as the council, could help play a role. If you know of any constituents who are former cases or recovered cases who would be interested in that, feel free to let us know, and we'd be happy to carry on with doing a testimonial with them. The second piece of that is a community response consortium. So this came out of an economic support proposal that the health department developed about I would say maybe 3 weeks ago at this point. And can someone mute their line if there's some kind of muffled sound?
Councilwoman Stiles, I think that's actually coming from your.
I am just pulling mine up.
Okay. Sorry, I was getting a little bit distracted. So the Community Response Consortium is a build out from an economic support proposal that we put forth about 3 weeks ago. And the main goals there were to get people hotel support if they needed a place to stay outside of the home, rent support, additional food support, and I believe there was one other piece to that. But ultimately, provide those financial and economic support structures so we could actually more successfully help people isolate from their families or roommates, and also provide like money to support if they were out of work for a long time. The third piece of that is testing. So, of course, expanding testing. We have a testing team here in the health department that is aiming to go out to community sites and do weekend and evening/night testing events. We have started officially as of last Sunday. So, we're definitely in that growth phase. And we're also, we're always looking for more partners and locations. So if you have any constituents in your communities who have some sort of facility, whether it be a cultural or religious institution who wants to partner with us, if it's, something else like a community center, we would be happy to coordinate either one-off or ongoing regular testing events with them. We have noted that a lot of people do need those night and weekend times, and unfortunately our assessment centers don't have a whole lot of flexibility in that. So one of our goals with this testing unit is to bring the testing to more of a community based site at a time that works for people. The next part of our plan is making sure that we can get PPE out to the community. This is in the form of both reusable masks, but also disposable masks. We have already started distributing reusable masks. We're happy to get those out to anybody who needs them. So, we're doing some active outreach there, but we're also responding to requests that come directly into the health department. And then we are also providing disposable PPE to cases and contacts that request it. And we're also, through our Salome partnership that we have ongoing, are providing it to the cases who are participating in that. And that just consists of the disposable masks, gloves, and cleaning supplies. And then lastly, we are adding more bilingual or native Spanish-speaking investigators to our investigation team. That way we don't have to rely on our translation services. As of today, we have sent five resumes to the agency to hire who are native Spanish speakers. So we're really excited about that. Really thankful to one of our coworkers here in the office who's gotten us all of those people to onboard. So a lot of this has begun. The part that has not begun is that community consortium. And we do have 2 partners identified who are either, I would say, like 75% of the way there, or about 50%. They're talking to their organization leadership. They're talking to their boards if they have them. But we've gotten some traction with 2 organizations that I think is really promising, who are going to be able to fulfill the roles of these community of the Community Response Consortium. And I did forget to mention that another part of that is to have either multilingual or Spanish language hotlines available through those other partner organizations. And we're also hoping that they can help us out with kind of like a foot team or outreach team on the ground. And the use of those teams would include things like helping to deliver food to families who need held in that area, and also kind of checking on folks while they're isolating or quarantining at home. So that is a quick and dirty overview of what that plan looks like, and a brief overview of what we started on and what we still need to achieve. So does anybody have any questions about that?
Councilwoman Stiles, my apologies. I muted your microphone a few minutes ago. We were getting a lot of background noise from you. So I can unmute you.
Thank you. My question is in regards to the mask. Where are you getting the mask from? Leslie?
I'm still here.
Hello?
I'm just kind of hearing some sporadic, like breaking up of the other phones.
Are you calling in on a cell phone, Leslie? Philip, did we lose Leslie?
No, we did not. She's still in the call.
Oh, hey, I can hear you guys now. Sorry, for a long time I couldn't hear anything. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can. Are you driving right now?
Nope, I am sitting at my desk.
Okay. Not sure why that happened.
Did you hear my question? Should I ask it again? Leslie?
Yes, I'm sorry. If you could ask that question again, that would be great.
Where are you getting the mask from?
So the masks that we are giving out are the state-funded masks that every other region in the state got. And then the ones that are the disposable masks that we're giving out in much smaller quantities are they're just like the standard surgical disposable masks.
Okay, so are you aware of the concerns that the majority of people have about the state masks? They're, very thin, very porous. Many people are uncomfortable with them. Is there room for us to purchase different masks that would be more effective? I do know that, that you all have a bit of a
I can
budget.
certainly ask.
That would be great. I think it's important if we're going to be handing out materials for prevention that we believe in them. Otherwise, we're being very negligent.
Yes, I will pass along.
Has there been any conversation in regard with radio or utilizing billboards?
Yes, those are included in the social media and marketing plan. And if you'll give me just 1 minute.
Yeah, we have a list of a little over 10 Latino media stations that we are partnering with, and that is coming from the mayor's office is partnering with that to do paid media as well as posting flyers to their social media and to their TV and radio stations as well.
And so has anyone reached out to 101 The Beat or 92Q, The Fish, other radio stations that also would be communicating with our impacted communities?
I'm not sure about those stations. I can go through and ask them if they have been in contact with those stations as well. Most of what we have on here is Latino radio, newspaper, and TV.
Okay. Well, we certainly need to add those other radio stations as the case numbers are high within the Latino and the Black community here in the Southeast. So we want to cover all of our bases. And in terms of I certainly have an additional conversation regarding enforcement and how are we implementing orders that we have currently. I know I've been going and physically delivering the new signs about the mask, going in places, seeing people without masks. Businesses are asking, and restaurants are asking, well, how do we enforce this? Is it on us? Do we call someone? Do you have any clarification on that?
I do know that just over this last weekend, we, I think, have made some headway in that enforcement piece. It has been, and I think, you know, a lot of our folks here at the health department would admit that it's been difficult dealing with the actual enforcement, but, you know, given the constant increasing cases, I think we are soon to get, you know, additional support that we need in actually enforcing the orders that have been put into place. So I'm hopeful. Enforcement is definitely not the wheelhouse of either Harriet or me, so we're not necessarily the best people to speak on it. But I can tell you that there have been some pretty significant conversations just over the last couple of days about really hitting home that enforcement piece. So I personally am hopeful for the first time in a while that we'll actually be able to enforce the orders that are in place.
And the ultimate call on the enforcement, is that coming from Dr. Caldwell? Or is this Hugh Atkins?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's going to be kind of a combination of multiple people here. So, you know, any questions more detailed than that about enforcement, I would certainly feel more comfortable letting them answer that, just since it's not really my purview.
Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions?
I have some questions, Councilwoman, and Councilwoman Sepulveda's hand is up also.
Thank you very much. If you'd like to go ahead, Councilmember Porterfield.
Yes, thank you. Leslie, thank you for the information that you have provided at this point. I know at one point I was looking at the numbers, and what I was seeing was 37013, 37217, and 37, I believe it was 211. The numbers per capita were higher. Like we had a higher percentage of people. Like I know we have a bigger population, but we also had a higher percentage of people that were testing positive. Do you guys have any data on that? Like, you know, just in comparison to the other parts of town, you know, what our numbers are looking like?
Yeah, absolutely. Would you guys like to see, I think showing you all the rates would be good in this case. That way, you know, we can control for the population size in those specific zip codes, but we certainly have that. And I'm looking through my computer screens at my data epi, and I think we can turn that around really quickly. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I would be interested in seeing what those numbers look like. So thank you. My only suggestion, and you know, I think everybody kind of knows I've been pretty vocal about this, so I appreciate the attention that you guys are giving to addressing the numbers. My only question is, or my only suggestion, I would say, because it sounds like the plan that you guys have in place, this sounds like a good plan. You know, I'm not the health expert, so I don't want to speak and say, you know, what you all should be doing. My only suggestion would be if we could look at the signs that we're getting, if we can get those like in multiple languages, not just in Southeast, primarily in Southeast, because that's what we're discussing. But if we can get that, like if establishments can make the sign or be provided with signs that they can post in multiple languages outside of English and Spanish. And I know that we do have a high percentage of our Latinx population that is testing positive. So I know we definitely have to have a focus on our Latinx community. but making sure that we have those signs like in Arabic and other languages as well. It would even be beneficial. There's a lot of research around signage that doesn't even include words, a picture of a person with a mask and then a picture of a person without the mask and having an X over their face. Like you can use signage that doesn't include words, so anyone of any language will be able to see it and understand what it is that we are displaying. And then also people with disabilities will be able to recognize that there are certain disabilities where people need to see visuals as opposed to like reading those words. So I think that would be helpful in addressing some of the what we're seeing. And that's my only thought or suggestion, and I appreciate the attention that y'all are giving to it.
Great. We'll definitely check in and make sure that we have some of that pictorial signage developed.
Thank you.
And of course, the multiple languages.
Councilmember Sepulveda?
Yes, thank you. I have a couple of questions. So I wanted to know what the timeline is for the new hires you were just speaking about, the interpreters.
Oh yeah, so they're not actually going to be interpreters. They're going to be our communicable disease investigators who are bilingual. So that way we don't have to use an interpreter. We've been told and we've learned that that's actually kind of a barrier. So that's why we're aiming to get native speakers of Spanish, but also maybe a couple of other languages down the road to do the interviews with cases who speak that language primarily. And in terms of the start date, I actually just got an email about 3 minutes ago. It looks like we might have several starting Monday, as long as the onboarding goes according to plan.
And how many of those are you hiring?
Right now we've sent the agencies 5 resumes to hire, and we're going to aim for 10 though.
Okay.
So we're about 50% there. And then we can add more as needed.
Got it. The mobile testing sites, you said that you were adding new locations. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you guys already started on that? Can you all share?
We have officially.
You have officially, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Can you share that with us so we could send that out? Because I don't have that information. I don't know if it went out in an email that I just missed. But that way we could help get the word out. And then my question is, how many of those are in Southeast?
Yeah, so far all of them are in Southeast. I think there might be one. Was there one up in Madison? Okay, yeah, there's one to be scheduled up in Madison, but other than that one, so far all of them are in Southeast. And yes, we will certainly get you that calendar. Our goal is to have a public-facing calendar with all the events on there. So I want to get that updated by Thursday. We have certain rules about not using like anything on Google Drive, so I'm trying to find the best platform for that. But yeah, ideally we'll have a public-facing calendar.
Okay. And you said there was limitations for time and weekends, correct?
Well, we know that a lot of people have had trouble getting to our assessment centers, so we've had a lot of requests for night and weekend testing. So that's kind of where we're trying to schedule at this point for these more community-based testing events, so we can meet that demand. But we don't have necessarily a limitation there in terms of our testing team. That's what we're aiming to do.
Okay. And then I just have 2 more things. So this plan that you have with purchasing more masks, the new hires, expanding mobile testing sites, and all that you presented to us. My question is just, where is that money coming from? Is it coming from your budget, or are you all going to be asking for CARES Act funding?
Yeah, I know we've definitely asked for CARES Act funding. Right now, we are still charging everything towards our COVID business unit. But I would have to verify whether or not that's actually the CARES Act funding specifically has been tapped for this. It seemed like that was going to be the case, but I would need to get confirmation on that.
Okay, and then my last point is the mask order. I'm still waiting for that translation. I think I asked for it the day it came out, and unless I missed the email, I still haven't received it. So I was just hoping I could get that so we could share that around with everyone.
Absolutely. I'll get your shameless plug in to our translator today, I guess, as soon as this call's over. Yeah, great. No worries.
Thank you.
Yes, I see former Councilmember Fabian Bednay's hand is raised.
I've unmuted him.
Okay, well, hi, everybody. Councilmember Stiles, thanks for inviting us, and it's good to be on the same call with so many people that care about my part of the city. I live in the Southeast, so I want to make sure people are safe. I am here speaking today on behalf of some of the people that were supposed to be here but couldn't make it. The sort of marketing part of the plan, the communications part of the plan is handled by Katie Lentil, but she couldn't be on this call today, and Ben Eagles was also held back, so I was very happy to join the call. We are at the mayor's office. We are doing all the creative assets and translation, all the messages, so we can distribute it to the community. As you all know, we have a very diverse community in this city that speak many, many different languages, and we want to make sure that the message is very clear to all of them. I appreciate the comment Council Lady Porterfield made before about having signage in different languages, and we are, if you go to our asset page, you'll see that we are having this information translated in different languages, so people can pick the one that works for them and post it on the front of their business, and people know how to be safe. We are almost done with all the translations for the full health orders and complete roadmap documents. The Spanish one is done, but we are going to continuously update it on the website. The website is a very good tool. As a matter of fact, I use it on my Spanish press conferences every day, and I find that it's very helpful. We have new mass posters and on the website, and they are ready for people to download and print. The last comment I want to make is geofencing on social media is being purchased now, and media buys are being negotiated and should be confirmed this week.
Thank you very much. At the very beginning of the call, I was asking regarding our issues out here, and I made reference to that so that members that are out here dealing face-to-face and one-on-one with the constituents out here are actively involved in this plan. I did hear that one event took place this weekend, but there were no council members involved, and it involved going to a bilingual church, and you didn't have anyone there that spoke the language. So it, to me, doesn't make a lot of sense to have a Southeast plan without having council members on board and actively engaged. So to that end, I think that this meeting where we are doing updates, where we are discussing how things are progressing would be a great addition and a great plan. I had mentioned it earlier in the call, so I'm going to ask Councilmember Porterfield, who's now joined us, also Councilmember Sepulveda, would you be interested in having a committee dealing with the Southeast COVID-19 response? That would involve all of us, all the members that are on this call. Dr. Caldwell has now joined us, so we would all be working together to address these issues.
I will. I'll just give my 2 cents on it. I'm not in opposition to that. I would be okay with the committee being formed and not necessarily serving on that committee. I don't know that all the council members would necessarily need to serve on it if we had someone to represent us. I do think that it's important for us to know what's going on. I think the communication needs to be open where we can kind of, voice those concerns and share those concerns with the team that is doing the work. I think again, I know that I've been very vocal on my concerns and sharing the feedback that I've had and just sharing the concerns that I've had and the questions that I've had. The plan that has been presented today for me sounds like this is a plan that could work to address the concerns that we're having in our community. So as long as there's communication, as long as we see what's happening with the numbers, as long as we can have another conversation if we see the numbers are not going down, as long as we're able to just kind of share, hey, this is what I'm seeing out here in my community. I personally don't see the need for me to sit on a committee, but that is just based on my availability. Wow. And my thoughts. I'm not sure who said that they would not have thought that, but yeah, thank you.
Councilmember Sepulveda?
Yes. I like listening to the plan. I think we're heading in a really good direction. And so I'm interested to see how it plans out and how the numbers reflect it. I'm in the same boat as Councilwoman Porterfield. I don't have a problem with the committee being formed. Yeah, so I don't know what that would look like. If I'm not mistaken, the vice mayor is the one that calls special committees for us. Is that correct, Councilwoman?
Correct. And he was supposed to be joining us today to talk about the committee. So I want to share with him our feedback from this call.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think it's good that we're having this discussion, and I think it's good that we're getting an update. So if the vice mayor calls a special committee, I am perfectly fine with that. If he chooses not to, if there could be a way for Metro Health to keep us in the loop and just let us know what's going on and give us more specific details for Southeast Nashville on a regular basis, that would be great. Another thing that we should probably note is that we live here and we have interactions with our constituents on a daily basis. So there might be some things that are happening on the ground that Metro Health might not be aware of. And if we could have a more open dialogue and more frequent dialogue, it might be beneficial for all parties.
See if I see any more hands raised.
Hey, this is Leslie.
I do. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was just going to maybe propose somewhat of a schedule for updates. I was going to see how you all felt about the end of each week getting updates. Obviously, with the you guys can email or call anytime, of course, but just having a standing recurrence of updated data, but then also updates on the actual activities that are part of the plan. Does that sound like something that you all would want? And does that sound sufficient for your needs? And I would like a little bit of feedback on that. especially that frequency and that schedule. How does that sound to you all?
Are you referring to us having a call like this where you would give us updates on all of the numbers, or are you referring to merely sending out an email of information? Personally, my preference would be a call.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's up to you guys. I think it's dependent on what you would like. And then, of course, we would of course email out the data and the information so you could have it in writing. But we'd be happy to get on a call regularly as well.
I would personally be happy with the call on a regular basis.
And if we could, a weekly call would be great, which is exactly what I was saying in terms of us being involved and knowing what's happening. So I do have one question, however. Dr. Caldwell, I think this question came up before you were on the call. It is in regards to enforcement. And I have had a few questions from businesses and restaurants as I've been taking the signs around to say who is doing the enforcing. So does a business have the right to tell someone that they can't come in? If they've got the sign up that says you're required to have a mask and they don't have it, can they refuse service? And then are they also calling in to say they're having an issue with people trying to come in? How does this work?
Hello, I'm just doing a sound check. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, super. Well, we are developing it in a way that will work best to maximize compliance as well as reduce conflict and tension. So with that said, we are learning. We are using our technical advisory support team with Mr. Tom Sharp and Mr. Atkins and others to help field a lot of these one-on-one questions. And this is a really good one. The expectation is that the expectation is that people will comply, that owners of establishments will have signage, either the one that's available online or something similar. So once they do that, that's a good start. We also want them to continue to be in compliance with having all their employees wear face coverings, and that has been the case. That's not changing. We want business owners to, if they choose to not allow anyone in their establishment without a face mask, that is great. This is what Mayor Cooper has done through his executive order previously, Executive Order 7, saying no one from the public is allowed in without a face covering. We are looking for intent for compliance, that a business owner is trying their best to comply, and that if somebody walks in and says, I'm not going to listen to you, I'm going to not wear my face covering, that business owner has the ability to make a decision whether they feel they want to allow that person in or not. If they do, then we are hoping it'll be more the exception rather than the rule, that they will be socially distanced away from their employees and others. In that particular case, when someone is just refusing. Other cases, if people state that they have some medical condition which prevents them from wearing the face covering, it's written in the order that they are to be believed and to they're not to be asked for medical documentation. So I think it's a work in progress. There are some business owners who are very comfortable about saying no shirts, no shoes, no mask, no service, and treating it like they would anyone else who were not compliant with any of these other activities. Now, I know Butch Spiriton, I was on a call with him and a number of bar and restaurant owners earlier, and he's actually made up a sign like this to print it out to basically say, these are the rules, you're not allowed in. But as we're in this early educational phase, I'm very mindful of some of what we've seen around the country with some conflict and tension, and want to see if we can move our community along in a way that reduces conflict. So does that answer your question?
Not entirely. One thing I was asked by Kroger corporate specifically was verbiage regarding what you're saying right now. They want to see that in writing so that they can implement it. When I spoke to them, I did suggest that particular store also has the property owner has security there. And in speaking with the property owner, I asked if security could help with making sure that people weren't coming in and out so it didn't fall entirely on Kroger. But Kroger would like to see that in writing, that yes, we can tell someone that they can't come in.
Yeah.
So if that is written someplace, or if you are able to pull that together this week, that would be great.
I think that's a good point. I think we're going to come up with a frequently asked questions section that we're going to put together, but some of it is going to be based on some of the experience over this next week or so as we are getting people to be compliant with this. Well, and that's a good point. But right now we don't know the exact right way to move forward. We expect compliance, but we want to work to move the community along in a way that's going to work for everybody.
Well, I would very much like to ask if something can be put together as it pertains to businesses. I would appreciate that. As large as my commercial district is and how many people are unaware when orders come out, I'm physically taking signs because not everyone got the memo that we are supposed to be wearing masks. Yeah. So if I can have something in writing, even if it's something before it's out there, that's from you, because Kroger is my main grocery store. So I would like to stop people from going in there without a mask. I'm going to need that in writing for Kroger corporate, or potentially it's just going to be an in and out.
Yeah, I'll follow up with you directly on this one issue, but you're right. Perfect. This is going to have to come. Right now, the only thing that's written is the order. And we're going to come up with a frequently asked questions section, but maybe we can, use this as a first question to answer to be more clear.
Thank you very much. Ben Eagles is on the line. He wants to ask a question.
Which phone? Do you know the phone number?
I texted you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Is he there? Okay.
Okay, great. Yeah, sorry about that. I was in a meeting with the mayor that was pushed back and then ran long. But just want to say we're 100% support for having regular calls to keep all of you engaged and involved in this process, and need, of course, your feedback and ideas. I know you mentioned the testing experience from this weekend at a church in Southeast Nashville. Want to highlight the role that Fabian has played in terms of being incredibly helpful to public health and engaging in a culturally competent approach there. So consider that a learning experience. And one thing that Fabian has already helped out with is getting buy-in from pastors for subsequent testing, and then public health has put in some good thought into looking at partnering with 2 or 3 churches on the same day to sort of have a more communal feel and encourage participation. That said, I don't really think that we need a formal committee at this time. If you'd asked me that 2 weeks ago, I frankly would have said yes. I think we've made tremendous progress in putting forward the right plan for dealing with the hotspots, and I want to say that also includes Madison. That this isn't a strategy for the at-risk communities, particularly the immigrant communities in Southeast and in Madison. I think that's the main thing here. But I'm excited about these ideas. In terms of the enforcement, enforcement's a challenge across the county. we're in an unprecedented situation, and I know that folks want public health to go out and padlock businesses and write 100 citations a day. It's extremely difficult, and so I want to applaud the work that they've done in terms of enforcement and education, and I think a lot of it, a big role that the local council members in Southeast can play, in my opinion, is helping us in the mayor's office and helping health highlight the businesses that are doing a really good job. And so we highlight them. And then if there are bad actors, and I know that we can go in a Kroger and you can see that not everyone is wearing a mask, but we're kind of talking about those businesses where there is no effort made, right? Absolutely let us know. Let public health know, Hugh and his team, and it will go out. So just wanted to bring that up.
Well, thank you, Ben. I disagree in terms of council members and the need for our involvement. I think
well,
our
to
numbers
be
and
clear,
the
I'm
behaviors.
100% pro involvement, 100%. It's just we now have a really good plan with public health, and it's time for them to execute the plan.
Okay, and how many of us were consulted in talking about working within our districts? I know I wasn't asked, and I'm not saying this to be contentious. I'm just saying that moving forward, it would be good for, if other council members aren't available, I'm available to be at the table. As I'm out here every day and I'm seeing what's happening and non-compliance, and just generally information is not well disseminated. And so I think it is important for us to have an active participation, and it's not enough for us to just reach out to you and tell you what businesses are doing a good job. It's bad, who's doing a bad job, and how else we can assist.
I would say that from the weekly council calls, there's been a tremendous amount of feedback provided by, of course, you and council ladies, Porterfield and Sepulveda, and a lot of great ideas that have gone into this plan. 100% want feedback on the plan. If there are elements that you think should be changed, included, modified, taken out, totally. I want us to not wait, I guess, for some subsequent plan to be developed. But no, I don't mean to minimize and suggest that I only want or think the role of council is to give us businesses to go in force. But I think that we do have a pretty good plan here, and it's time for health to execute.
Thank you, Ben. I do have one more question for Dr. Caldwell. I received a call today from one of our dialysis centers, and they have been trying to reach out to the health department now for 2 months in regards to their patients that have been coming, a little bit over 70 patients. 8 of them have tested positive. They're coming back and forth from 3 different nursing homes. They've been asking for testing capabilities and responded to them. So can a mobile testing site be sent to that location? They asked if they could have 100 tests.
I'm going to have to follow up with Dr. Wright on that, because we're trying to prioritize where we do these mobile testing. It certainly can be something we consider. And is this something that you have already communicated to me by email, or can you?
Not at all. I got this message today, and I spoke to this individual at the dialysis center right before this call.
Okay.
So I'm bringing it to you.
Yeah.
I think dialysis patients should be prioritized. How can it just go on a list? Do we not have?
Yeah. Well, we have this. We're ramping up our mobile testing capabilities, and so I'll have to work with Dr. Wright and our team on how we mobilize that. But if you would do me a favor, at least, and just email me so that I can have that specific information and I can follow up?
And what should I let them know when they reach out again, that they're going to hear from Dr. Wright?
You can, yeah, well, yes, and you can email me and copy them, and so that we'll all be communicated then.
Wonderful. Thank you. Does anyone else have a question? I'm going to look and see up the list. Yes. Former member, Councilmember Fabian.
Put down that little hand.
You're putting your little hand down? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it. I apologize. I'm an old man, so I don't know how to use this technology.
No worries. In that case, Councilwoman Vercher, is your hand up correctly?
Yes, it is. What I was stating earlier, as it relates to context, and Ben, thank you for also including Madison, because if you're following this as it relates to reporting from other states, not just what is reported in the Tennessean, we can't continue to have our area painted as this is just an issue for our area. So Ben, thank you so much for including, like, hey, it's not just Southeast, it's other areas in the city also. I'm on board with the plan. When I was stating earlier, I'm not a public health expert, so I will rely on you guys. And because this is just so serious and it's evolving, and I have the history of knowing what the city went through with the TB outbreak, I really want us to make sure that what we communicate publicly is responsible, with understanding that a lot of people don't know, what this virus is going to look like from day to day. My suggestion is because just the climate that we're in, that we make sure that we are not politicizing this. And my one suggestion, and I haven't been critical about this process, because I understand that you are working with the health department, the mayor's office. You're working with the best information that you have at a given time. So my advice to my constituency is just be safe, be smart, stay home. If you have to go out, wear a mask. That's as simple as that. My only critique is on the sign, we need to remove the mayor's logo and put the Metro Public Health Department's logo. That takes the politics out of it. And I think it makes the credibility of the signage more serious to the general public. When they see that sign and it has the mayor's office, the council's office, anything politically related, I think it dilutes the efforts that we're trying to do. When people see something that comes from a public health entity, they take it a little more serious. Currently, as it is, the feedback that I get is that they don't see this as a public health mandate. They see this as Mayor Cooper's mandate, and we need to shift from that if we want the plan to be successful as it relates to people complying and taking this really serious. And that's my only critique as it relates to it. And I thank all of y'all for all the work that you've done on it. And hopefully you heard all that.
You were crystal clear this time. We heard everything. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
And I'll add too that I don't think we need an additional committee. I think that just adds to another layer of the bureaucracy, so to speak. But I would love for us to make sure that they just beef up the communications to the Southeast Council members.
Okay.
Everything with this virus, it really needs to be pushed from the public health standpoint. I mean, that's how you're going to get people to really pay attention. It has to be pushed from the public health standpoint. And then that's it. I'll just close on that. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Vercher. I don't see any other hands raised. So I would like to thank you all. It is almost 5:10. Thank you all so very much for giving your time this afternoon so that we could discuss this. Leslie, thank you for offering to give us weekly updates. So I guess since the holiday weekend is upon us, maybe next week, towards the end of the week, we would be able to have a call.
Councilwoman Barks.
Certainly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was just going to say we can even give you guys the update on activities on Thursday of this week and pick up towards the end of next week if that works.
That would be fantastic.
I'm sorry to jump in. I'm sorry to jump in, Councilwoman Styles. I didn't know if you could, if you were able to see the hand. That was actually going to be my recommendation. Since we're already doing Thursday calls, if it would be possible to update us on that, Thursday call when we're already gathered. If that is the will of the group, I think that would be a prudent use of our time.
Dr. Caldwell and Leslie, would we potentially be able to extend the time of the call? Because I know sometimes the health call starts and time grows very short and we might not have time for the updates. Could we add an additional 10 minutes perhaps so that information could be shared?
If it's possible, can you guys hear me? I'm not sure if you guys can hear me.
Yes.
I would probably prefer it to be a separate call, just so they, for instance, Leslie doesn't have to sit through that call, and we can just sort of focus on Southeast and Madison, whatever, and also so we can have a bit more of a discussion in that one thing that I've noticed in some of these broader council calls is clearly the attendance is not limited to council people. And I think we need a forum where people can be honest in kind of feedback as to what's going well, what's not going well, that we can talk about, specific events, maybe specific businesses, specific sites that you want, testing done or ideas that you have, and it be a little bit, just a different feel to it, if you get what I'm saying. I think that would be productive.
I can also say that I'll be able to share slightly more detailed information with you that I wouldn't necessarily be able to share on a more public forum. So that is a good point, then.
Councilwoman Styles, you're muted. We see your lips moving, but we don't hear you.
Thank you very much. As I was saying while I was on mute, I would prefer to have a designated call so we can do a little bit more of a deep dive. And if that works, then by all means. Councilwoman Sepulveda, are you still on the line?
I am sorry. I'm in between two meetings right now. And then I have a fundraiser also on the back end. Yes, I think a whole separate call for Southeast is actually a great idea. It lets us go into this a little deeper. So I'm good with that.
Okay, well then separate designated call it is. And thank you, Leslie, for offering to give us additional information on Thursday. That would be great. And in terms of coming up with a time, if we're going to plan on doing this, I guess on Thursdays or Fridays, that would be good. Would that work for you, Leslie?
Yep, that works for us.
Excellent. So I'm going to scroll through one last time just in case I miss Councilmember Porterfield. Okay, I don't see any other hands. So thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
All right, thanks.
Thanks
Good
so much.
night.
Thank you, everyone.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.